Relocation started in 1963.
They got relocated here because there was a road in from Kenora, supplies would be more accessible and the hydro, even water and sewer systems. That really got people drinking. Boy, at that time, in the 70s.
Did you drink too?
Oh yeah, I drank.
You used to drink too?
Yeah.
In 1970, soon after the relocation, mercury contamination was identified. Commercial fishing and guiding were wiped out. They also lost their primary source of food, fish. The Ontario government began delivering uncontaminated frozen fish in 1975. 5 years had passed since the warning against eating fish was issued.
The government put a building on the reserve where they'll supply fish forever. They said fish with no mercury, and so that we don't eat mercury from the waters. The fish from the water with mercury. But the part they didn't understand is that when they take that aspect of us going to get the fish and cutting the fish and going in a boat and living off the fish, and the whole way of life is just severed.
The problem started when they lost their trapping, fishing, their old way of life.
How did they lose their trapping and fishing?
Well, I was a trapper, but Lance Forest took it away from me because I didn't go for a year.
Oh yeah,
You had to be
the quota system.
every year.
Yeah,
quota,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And one by one we started losing our trap lines.
Oh yeah.
I think that's where the alcohol problem come from.
Since the late 1940s, each trapper was obligated to report the previous year's harvest of fur to the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources, according to established quotas. If a trapper did not make their quota repeatedly, or did not report to the Ministry of Natural Resources, they had their licenses revoked. Before residential schooling was imposed, parents migrated to the trapline with their children. When children were at residential school full-time, parents still went trapping for the whole winter. When the school was built on the reserve, parents stayed home to care for their children. Their trapline quotas fell, and they lost their licenses.
We don't need permits or anything to go out and get what we need from the land.
Robert Williamson thinks the quota system infringes on the promises made by Treaty Number 3. Treaty 3 was ratified between the Crown and the Saulteaux Indians, including Grassy Narrows, in 1873. It states, Indians shall have the right to pursue their avocations of hunting and fishing throughout the tract surrendered. However, it also states, excepting such tracts as may from time to time be required or taken up for settlement, mining, lumbering, or other purposes by her said government of the Dominion of Canada.
There is different versions of the treaty. There's the version that's published by Canada, which you can find in your local library. There was a version that was kept by the Manitoban, which was a newspaper at the time. One of the negotiators, Dawson, kept notes. A French guy named Nolan kept notes. And then one of the chiefs had somebody keep notes for him called the Paypalm Treaty. And then, of course, there's the oral recollections of the native people that were there, which has been passed on through the years. There's within that document, Treaty 3 is published by Canada. You'll see in there it's very specific that it says that the Anishinaabe people cede, release, yield up, surrender all rights, titles, privileges. And when you examine that document, you can see very clearly on the bottom that there are the signatures of our people on there. So there is legitimacy to their point of view that they can make some argument that we did surrender those things. However, those other source documents say that there are different understandings of the treaty, and in recent Supreme Court cases, the Supreme Court has been saying that those oral traditions, those oral understandings of the treaties are equal to what that written document is.
My great-great-great-grandfather was one of the signers of the treaty, and it's been, passed on to my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother. All have said that this land was never surrendered, as it's written in the treaty that we surrendered it. And my elders say that they never gave up the land. They agreed to share the land.
The elders' understanding of the treaty is that there was enough goodness in this country for everybody to live a good life, and that we would share those. And the other understanding was that we would keep our way of life along with the economic base, and they would keep their way of life. It was never intended for who in their right mind would give up their way of feeding themselves and agree to give up their way of life.
You can keep your way of life. I mean, that's one of the most consistent treaty promises made, both in the Treaty 3 context and in many of the treaty contexts. We're not having you sign this treaty in order for you to, get rid of your way of life. And the way of life of the Anishinaabe people in Treaty 3 territory is a hunting and fishing and trapping way of life. So I would say that means that although the Crown has the right to use the Crown land, to settle it, to develop it, I don't believe it can do so in a way that makes the hunting, fishing, and trapping way of life impossible. It can't clear-cut all of the forests. And the treaty is protected by the Constitution. It's the highest law of the land, and it's the founding law for Canada.
They already did the damage, and see, I've been getting letters from those people that want to cut in the trapline area.
Yeah.
And they said, "Can you answer the letter so we could cut the area?" But I never answered the letter, and they wouldn't. They went ahead and cut the area anyway.
If they clear out that land, where all the animals are going to go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why you're trying to save the trees, everything, eh?
Mm-hmm.
If they clear all that land, there won't be nothing for us to live on. So that's why grassy people are trying to fight for that, for our trees and land, eh? Before it's all destroyed, eh?
But you know what? There aren't so many active trappers anymore. Like, do you trap? When did you trap
No.
last time?
That's the reason why. That's the
No,
reason
no,
why.
Okay.
That's the reason why.
That's not true. That's not
Okay.
true.
We got a cabins there,
Yeah.
and no, because they cut all over the.
Yeah. That part, it's all cut up, eh?
His trap line, your brother
Yeah.
Don's trap line was cut?
Yeah.
Yes.
Your
But
place?
now they're coming here closer, closer, eh?
Mhm.
And that's what they're trying to protect, eh?
Is that why you stopped trapping?
Yeah.
Because they cut the trees?
Yes.
Because they're cutting everything, eh?
Hmm.
Livelihood, I should say.
Livelihood, yeah.
We have to depend on welfare.
We're sort of forced to eat through the store, the instant foods and the canned food that is there, but it's quite costly. You know, it's readily available for us, and we know how to catch the fish that we eat in the lake.
It's a supplemental fish. Like it reduces food costs as well.
Yeah, it does.
Our Aboriginal rights to hunt and to just be out here, like on the land. Like I've been learning a lot about it, and I felt that instead of just learning, and just talking, I've been trying to live what I've been learning. We're gonna put a small cabin here because when we travel from the other cabin, this will be another cabin to stop at. If we need to stop and rest. It says stop work order, and got my name Roberta. Hereby ordered to immediately cease all unauthorized cabin and or trail construction. Apparently that's one of their rules, is like that if people want to build cabins, build trails for trapping, they have to, even I guess to leave a boat somewhere, they MNR has to give permission, but I didn't feel that I need that because like our people have been here. We've always been here. We've always been out on the land.
The land is there for our use, but we don't necessarily own it, but we have full use and rights to that land as we need it. So if you're asking me if I own any land anywhere, I can't say that I own the land directly, but I can say to you that I can use the land in different places, and in that sense, I guess I have ownership of the land because I have a use of it.
They wouldn't have even talked about title. It's a foreign thing for us.
That's what the elder says.
Yeah, we never talk about title. Our people don't believe in owning something that you're a part of. You know, you can't own. Nobody can own air. Nobody can own trees. You know, we're all part of it.